we wanted to show you a progression here, okay? In China, in the last couple of years, it's been very popular to make skits for social media. Anti-Japanese skits. I mean, look, the government puts anti-Japanese TV shows on every single day of the week. You cannot turn a Chinese TV on without seeing one of those fantasy war dramas where the Japanese are being bad and then the peasants rise up and slaughter them all and stuff. You know, it's like just the way it is. It's like par for the course, right? But now civilians are in their own time making and putting out there, and the government does it too, these kind of skits. So let's just talk about this.
What would you say the source of their imagination is?
Oh, yeah.
My source is that I made it the f*** up.
Not this.
What's their source of imagination to come up with
The
this?
source of imagination. I'm sorry.
Where I can find the source of imagination. Where?
So their sork is definitely from the government. I'm saying
Yes.
this is not organic.
No, this is not organic. Remember, from early childhood all the way to adulthood, Chinese people are taught in education and through the media that Japanese people are evil and bad. That's
Yes.
just the way it is, okay?
Yeah.
And also foreigners are evil and bad.
Yeah.
Now, this is the kind of skit that's got fairly high production and goes around and gets
Just play in the background.
millions and millions of views. But let's kind of describe what's going on here.
Okay, so there's some kids and they're saying like, oh, the youth, because if you're united, you're strong or whatever. And then this random Japanese woman comes out of this place, this Japanese school, and
Yeah.
she's like, "You're bothering my sleep, you little
Yeah,
pigs."
and like tries to slap one of them.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like stop. You know. So what is? Here's the important part, right? So the
this
kids.
is a skit. YouTube, chill out.
Yeah, it's a skit.
Relax.
So this is you know, our China or whatever, and he like kicks her. Now this is the part that I want to pay attention to. Is this normalizes, you know, violence against Japanese people. So it's kind of normal for them to put out a skit like
As
this.
they've been doing since Mao's time
Yeah.
on TV, literally.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, okay, it's okay for like a schoolboy to kick a woman just because she's Japanese.
This is simulated YouTube.
Yeah, it's simulated, but still.
I know. I'm just getting
Yeah.
YouTube to back off. Chill out.
The reason why these skits exist is because they're encouraged.
yeah.
Not only are they encouraged, but endorsed by the government. And the reason I say they're endorsed is anything that's posted on the Chinese internet, if it's not censored and it's not blocked, because remember, it's the most controlled internet in the world. If I post something on the Chinese internet that's like violent or bad or controversial in any way, if it's not taken down, that's because the Chinese government gave it a check.
Yep.
They're like, yes, that's okay.
fine.
It's got to pass.
Why do you think when I scrolled Douyin that there were so many of these
Yeah.
and they're viral now? And it's weird. They're all surrounding this very ridiculous straw man thing where like a Japanese person is in China for some reason
Yeah.
and they're being mean.
Yeah.
And
So
like, they're like, I hate you, stupid people. You're bad. And they're
Yeah.
like, don't you dare say that.
So,
like,
yeah.
stand on a Chinese flag or something. Like,
Yeah.
this would ever happen.
it would never happen. So like the Japanese guys come out and they're like, hey, this is our Japanese school, you know, don't interrupt us. And then the Chinese teacher comes out and says, you guys are bad and all this nonsense.
and
Yeah,
defend
the usual kind of crap and let's point fingers. And they end up going and destroying the school, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I
Play in
mean?
the background.
They're like, you get us out of here. Get out of here, you Japanese. You know, what are you doing here?
Right.
Okay, now it's important to show how socially acceptable it is to show violence against ordinary Japanese citizens just for being Japanese.
Where do you think this anti-foreigner sentiment's coming from, guys?
Yeah, why do you think there are people stabbing Japanese people in China?
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not an isolated incident. It wasn't that long ago that a Japanese guy was stabbed as well. Not that long ago, and it happens more than you would care to know. Look, they're like, let's go fight the Japanese and bring in our troops of school kids.
I mean, like, this is just so dumb. And they're all dumb. They're all mad dumb.
They're dumb, but again, like I said, the whole...
I'm not belittling.
Yeah, no. The takeaway from it is that they are normalizing violence against random Japanese people in China.
Yes.
It's okay. It's seen as a patriotic thing. It's seen as something that's healthy. You know, it's seen as something that you should do if you're a true Chinese person.
It's getting people riled up.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Imagine you're an impressionable young man and you see this every day of your life. Look, they're like
Literally
smashing-
every day of your life. Yeah.
They're smashing the school's sign now, destroying it. They're like,
Japanese school.
yeah, it's like, how dare you get it? And they
out of
say, get out
China.
of China. That's what they said there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look how proud we are and all this
They
nonsense.
have their patriotic shirts. So then they go and then finish it off with the patriotic chant. So
Yes.
This has been a thing that's been going around. It's been going around in China forever, but it's because of the age of social media, people can make their own thing now. It's not just like CCTV, like the Chinese state television anymore. It's people are making these themselves.
Yeah. So we just wanted to show you the progression. So this is the kind of thing that you see on your social media, and people are liking it and sharing it. It's getting millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of views in some cases because, it's good to be proud Chinese nationalists who hates Japanese people.
Now, this flies so deeply and far in the face of what China's doing in their propaganda department, which is trying to show the rest of the world right now that China is open for business.
Yes.
You can invest. You can travel. Please do.
Yeah.
We have this new 140 whatever hour visa.
Yeah.
Visa-free
Come
thing
see
that you
for
can
yourself.
Come for yourself. We've been getting bombarded with propaganda messages.
Isn't it
about
funny?
that.
One of the biggest things they say when we put something critical about the Chinese government or society, they say, "Oh, you've never been to China. You come, dude." Like, we both lived in China over a decade. We speak the language. We're married to Chinese people. We have Chinese friends and acquaintances in China. We know, dude. We know what we're talking about here. Yeah. But it's this whole idea that, oh, come see for yourself. But if you do actually go try and see for yourself, and you try to go to Xinjiang or whatever, just try.
Yeah.
Unless you go to those very curated, Potemkin village things.
We've seen people recently. I don't want to get off topic. We've seen people recently that have drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And then go to Xinjiang, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is really bad." Anyway, so the be-all and end-all here, before we get into this horrible clip, is that China is trying to have its cake and eat it too. It's trying to show the rest of the world everything's fine, everything's cool, but then at the same time, domestically in China, they want people to hate the rest of the world. It's this weird, discombobulation. You can't tell your people with state media all the time, everyone is bad except for Chinese people. Everything is bad. We must hate them. We must hate them. America and Japan are the source of all your problems, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden when something happens, like a stab a bunch of Americans, stab some Japanese people, right?
Isolated incident. We're the safest place. Come and see
We're the
us.
safest country in the world. This doesn't happen. Tries to block all the news. Tries to block everything about it, and then pumps propaganda out there. The reality is that domestically in China, this is the stuff they don't want you to see. Look at how the education system works.
Yeah. Okay. So
I want to set this up.
We'll set this up. So there's a volunteer teacher's in a school, in a fairly rural school here, and he's made the children basically draw rainbows and stuff and say "I love China, I am Chinese," that type of thing.
That's what you had to write.
Yes. And so one of the kids was obviously being a little bit rebellious, and he said, "I love Japanese people." Yeah. Just as you know what kids are like, right? Yeah. So the teacher says, "Do this," and he probably had a little snicker. He's just a young kid.
This is what it's just messing around. And why is that bad to write, by the way?
Yeah, you can write that.
You write whatever you want.
Yeah, I can.
Imagine in America making kids go, no, no creativity here. You have to write, "I'm American and I love America." And if somebody wrote "I'm American and I love cake," I'm American and I love Japan. I'm American, I love China.
What if it's somebody whose family's Mexican or something, and I love Mexico, or you know what I mean?
And everyone would be like, "That's really nice. Share it with the class. That's really nice. Yay!"
But not in China. So
let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'll get us out of here so you can see the subtitles. But
this made me super upset.
Says,
中国人的时候忘记写了，那你能写日本人？啊，手伸出来。今天课间。
So this is his picture, right? It's like rainbow with clouds and some buildings, and it says 我爱日本人, which means I love Japanese people, which in China it's a mortal sin. To write something like
He's
this.
just messing around.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
有几个学生拿着另外一个学生画的画来让我看，说老师你看他画的什么？这是1年级刚上
First grade class, right after an art lesson.
完美术课。我看看你们写的。
Let's see what the others are writing.
我是中国人. Why 中国 means I'm Chinese, I love China. That's what you're supposed to write.
Yeah.
And then a rainbow and a house and a tree.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to Chinese education.
Yeah. So he's like, this is correct.
是你画的吗？哎，你跟我说，你为什
Just tell me why you wrote this? Why did you write these
么要
words?
写它？为什么要写这几个字？
He's like, I forgot. I wrote it,
我写了吧。
忘记什么？
写了。
忘记写了。什么叫忘记写了？啊？
我写中国人。
He's saying he forgot how to write the characters.
Yeah, I
for
forgot how to
Chinese.
write Chinese, so he wrote Japanese.
He's obviously trying to get
Yeah,
我
he forgot how to write Chinese, and how do you remember how to write Japanese? He's kind of digging his own grave here, you know.
中国人的时候忘记写了。
You know why he knows how to write Japanese? Is because all the anti-Japanese slogans everywhere. He probably, probably sees that more than China.
That's probably true.
Yeah, really, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see.
那你能写日本人？啊？手伸出来。啊？让你写，写。
You dare write it again? So just to remind you guys, corporal punishment's still totally fine in China.
It's actually not. It's completely against the
You think
rules.
it's against
no,
the rules?
it's not. I think that's the law.
Well,
They changed it
the
years
law?
ago. Yeah, it's the law.
Well, I mean, if they changed the laws, it certainly didn't change anything. 'cause
That's
I
my point.
I saw it with my own eyes.
too.
Not that long. 2019, I saw it.
Me too.
So
2018, I saw it last.
yeah.
Yes.
So again, you're not supposed to be drinking in public either in
Correct.
China. That's the law, but
That's
everyone
what I'm
does
trying
it.
to say.
Exactly. You're not supposed to be counterfeiting that LV bag, but everyone does it. You know what I mean? So the law doesn't really count in China. But
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So he smacks the boy a couple times, you know, whatever, whips him and on the hand, and then he says, "You dare? Do you dare? Do you dare write it again?"
We blanked it out, YouTube.
Yeah.
We blanked
能
that
写
out.
吗？
Poor kid.
Yeah.
我告诉你，你是中国人，你要记着，听见没有？什么都老师都可以原谅你们，什么错误都可以犯。
He's like, I'm telling you, you're Chinese. You remember that. Any mistake, any wrongdoing can be forgiven
但是
by
这
a
种错
teacher.
误，
But this mistake cannot be forgiven, right? So it's like I'll forgive anything. Like go murder your classmate, it's okay. But you write, "I love Japanese people," and I will never forgive that. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, did you all hear that?
绝对不能犯，知道吗？你们都听见了吗？当着我的面把它撕掉，
It's like, tear it up in front of me. All right,
使劲撕。
tear it up forcefully.
扔到垃圾桶去。
Throw it in the trash.
谁再敢写这样的
If anyone dares to write something like this again, I will send you home directly.
话，我直接就让你回家，听见没有？啊，这个学校不要你，
The school doesn't want you. We don't want
不要你
students
这样的
like
学
you.
You're doing
生。
this to the kid.
Yeah, this, I mean, it's so unfair. The kid is right there, and he's
Yeah.
like saying to everyone, if anyone writes this, we'll send you right home. The school doesn't want you. We don't want students like you, you know?
你给我记住了吗？刚才我
So this is the guy. all
This
right?
is the worst part. So
Yeah.
you would think, let's just think. Let's
Yeah.
do a thought experiment here.
Sure.
Let's think, okay, this guy's going to get lambasted on the Chinese internet, which a lot of people were very against this, right? However, he goes on to explain, not like, oh, I'm sorry. It goes on to explain why this was justified.
Yeah, he goes to, you know, he put this online.
Yes.
This is the stupidest thing. So he does this,
Yeah,
and then he
puts it on there.
online.
I
saying,
thought
like,
this was going to
"I
be
am so
commentary
good."
from someone else.
No, this is him.
He uploaded this.
Yeah, let's take a look what
Because
he
that's
said.
how okay this is.
Yeah, so he's like, I was
真
angry
的很
just
生
now.
气。我打了这个学生，
Yeah, I hit the student.
我知道
No, it's not good for
老师打学
teachers
生
to hit students.
不好，但是呢，有些事情
But I believe some things must be strictly
Just
taught.
play it. We can
我觉
read
得
over
必
it.
须要严厉的教育他。虽然我们小时候
So when I was a child, I also played games where some kids played the 8th Root Army and some played Japanese Devils.
也去玩这种打仗的游戏有人扮八路军，有人扮日本，对吧？然后在自己鼻子
Drawing black mustaches under their noses.
上抹一点黑，鼻子下面抹一点黑，然后玩过
I
这样
played
的
those
游
games
戏
too, but I knew I was playing the role of a villain.
但是呢，都是以坏人的身份角色来扮演的。那么出现
But today, the kid wrote, I love Japanese people on the
写
paper.
的纸面上这句话，我觉得必须要让他们认
I think it's extremely necessary for him to realize the seriousness of this issue.
识
After
到
hitting him,
问题的严重性，而且
I went to other classrooms to emphasize to all the students that this mistake is not allowed to happen again. So, I mean, he didn't just do it to his own class. He went to all the other classes. So he hits him, and then he goes, tells everyone else, and then he goes to all the other classes to make sure this mistake will never happen again, right? What else does he say?
我在几个班都走了一圈，把这个问题都严厉的强调了一下。虽然说是我们
Although I know Although I know that in today's society, order does not allow us to seek revenge or take action.
现在当下社会不可能去报仇或者去干什么这是现代社会不允许。但是呢
We must always keep this national humiliation in our hearts. Is that a healthy thing?
That's what's taught. That's why they show like 5-year-olds in China. They show them like images of like mutilated corpses that the Japanese. By the way, the Japanese did horrible things.
Absolutely,
in China,
no one's denying that.
They teach that to children and make sure they have that hatred in their hearts at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that's what dictatorships do.
Yeah,
it's common, very common.
Horrific. I mean, like, dude, this happened before your parents were born. Okay, like, get the hell out of here with your nonsense. And by the way, did you notice he's wearing like an American cap?
I was about to say, please take that off.
Yeah,
this does not. If you want to show the world that you support American values and freedom, I'll tell you what you just did is not that.
Yes, agreed.
This doesn't fly here.
He's got like an American eagle flag cap.
This you should wear a demon hat.
You should
I don't even know.
Just wear a Mao hat and get it over with, you know? Yeah. Let's see what else this idiot says.
American flag and a bald eagle.
Yes.
Take that off.
Yeah. Absolutely will not allow the children to forget. You see why this is a problem, you know? And we've explained this before. We've shown you the footage of them teaching kindergartners to like shoot Japanese and bayonet them and stuff. But you are literally stoking their fires of hatred and not letting them die.
What do you think you just did to this child?
Yeah.
This poor kid made a joke. By the way, it shouldn't even be a joke. You should be able to be right.
You should. Why can't you?
Why can't you love Japanese people?
There's nothing wrong with
That's
Japanese
really
people.
sweet. That's a really sweet thing to say.
Yeah, I love Japanese people.
Me
I got
too, and
Japanese
I love Chinese
friends.
people.
Yes, I love Korean people.
I love all people,
Yes.
right? And for a kid to single something out and say, I love Japanese people, there's nothing wrong with that. But let's just say in your twisted, warped fantasy that that's bad, right?
Yeah.
You got to let that go.
Yeah.
You don't publicly reprimand a kid. Take a video of it,
Yeah.
upload it online, and also get the entire class to shame him so he feels ostracized. What do you think is going to happen to his psyche about Japanese people in the future?
Sure.
What do you think is going to happen?
What's going to happen to his psyche in general?
In general,
Yeah.
right? I just realized something now. I was starting to squint so I could focus a little more on the hat.
Yeah.
I noticed something.
What?
That's an AVP hat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, look.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
AVP.
Anyway, let's see what
绝对
finishes
绝对
what
不
he
能
finishes
忘
up
掉
with.
的。虽然我今天打了孩子，我心也很痛，我也知道
Sure it does.
小孩子可能不懂事，
I believe hitting him is necessary, you know?
但是我觉
That's
得
what he says.
必须要打他。有人可能会骂我，或者是举报我，或者干什么都可以，没关系。这个事情我认，而且我给全校的师生强调过。总而言之，就一句话：铭记历史。
Remember history, never forget national humiliation, because that's what you got to remember, is to be humiliated.
勿忘国耻。我是阿杰，一名大凉山里的
Yeah,
助教老
volunteer
师。
teacher, Darling Shan. Okay, so now we have a guy in his early 50s, and by the way, you're seeing a lot of these stabbings are being committed by people in their 50s. It just seems to be the thing.
Yeah.
The guy in his 50s tried to murder a bus of school children, Japanese school children.
Yep.
Okay, and he actually stabbed a Japanese mother who was waiting at the bus stop and her little toddler, a little child. They both survived. But he wanted to get on the bus and stab all the children.
Yes.
And one of the bus attendants, because, you know, the school bus is going to have, you know, like a lady who gets out and helps the kids on and off the bus.
Yes.
She actually prevented him from getting on the bus.
Yes.
Very heroic. She stood in front of him and he killed her. She's dead. He stabbed the hell out of her and she died. Okay? And it just honestly shows you that hatred is not the way. Because this bastard nationalist who tried to murder children Japanese children, the only thing he ended up doing is killing one of his own countrymen, a Chinese woman who was actually heroic. It just shows you his intent and his goal to murder Japanese people ended up just killing a Chinese person.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's like those stupid anti-Japanese riots they have all the time in China. What do? They like overturn Toyotas and smash sushi shops and stuff. But it's like all stuff that's owned by Chinese people. So all they do is damage Chinese people's property.
Yeah, the sushi shop near where I was during one of the anti-Japanese protests was completely destroyed, had zero Japanese ownership.
Yep.
It was on the guy was like, I'm Chinese. I'm a proud Chinese. I'm a nationalist. I'm a patriot. You just destroyed my shop.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
ridiculous.
mean?
It's insane. But you see where this leads to. You start with all this absolute garbage, like skits of beating Japanese people up that are going around social media.
You have the school children learning in school over and over again, we must hate Japan. We must hate Japanese people, right?
And they're punished if they don't go along with it. You know, you get all the stuff in the media all the time telling you the Japanese people are evil, the Japanese devils and stuff. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's going to just make some like crazy eventually snap. And he's going to want to take out his frustrations on Japanese people, which is exactly what happened here. Okay, so there are a couple of things we have to discuss about this. First of all, there have been people who, rightly so, calling the lady who stepped in and stopped the murderer from murdering other children a hero, which she is, and people are drawing pictures like this of her.
Yeah, that's in tribute.
Yeah, in tribute. Former Japanese ambassador said, this should never be downplayed. 2 Japanese and 4 Americans have been stabbed in China. One has to wonder whether aggressive languages by wolf warriors and loose condemnation of xenophobic behavior by Chinese authorities led to this. Worrying. And this is correct, because loose condemnation is what you see. You know, if it makes the news in China, do they ever say, like, don't be patriotic or don't be, like, xenophobic? They never say that. They just say the perpetrator was apprehended quickly.
It's more like 90% of the focus that you'll see in response to these events, if they're somehow make it to the light of day in China, which they rarely do.
Exactly, like that other Japanese man that was stabbed not that long ago. Right? We didn't hear about it, didn't make international news.
No. When this happens, the response is, don't worry about this. China's super, super safe. And for example, as we're about to see, the actions of this one heroic Chinese person show that all Chinese people are brave, and under the leadership of socialism and Chinese characteristics, the Chinese government will make sure that China's awesome and amazing. You have nothing to worry about.
They never say, okay, populace, it's not okay to stab Japanese people.
Maybe don't do that.
Yeah. Okay, populace, it's not okay to attack foreigners.
Let's not hate.
No, what they say is oh, the perpetrator was apprehended quickly and, is being dealt with.
When we pick this apart, you'll find something very interesting. Some omissions.
Yeah, some omissions for sure. Okay, so this is, first of all, the Rimmen Ribao, which is the, People's Daily article that goes out there. What does it say? What does their headline say?
So it says Hu Yaoping, this is the woman, right?
Yeah.
She was the hero.
This is the woman who sadly died defending the children.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was brave, but you know what I'm missing? Can you get us out of there? I just want to look at this.
Yeah.
So this one on the right is a Weibo post.
Yeah, it's a Weibo post.
And it mentions that the victims were Japanese.
Yes.
But the one on the left does not say that, and that is official state media.
Yes.
We started to pick up on this, right?
Yeah.
This woman's being shown as a hero, which she should be.
Yes.
We applaud her efforts, and may it not be in vain.
The official statement from the government about this mentions nothing about the victims being Japanese.
No.
There's not a single mention of that.
Nope.
You know what they do mention is
go to the next slide so you can see.
Okay.
I think I put it in there.
They mention that, she stopped a perpetrator from doing a bad thing.
No, that's just on the bottom.
This is the official statement from the government.
It doesn't say anything about them being foreigners.
Yes.
Or Japanese.
Yep.
And it goes on to basically stroke its own ego about how the government's departments, this and that, held the ceremony for this and that. And it never goes into why this happened. Mm-hmm. And it then cheapens her achievement by saying this represents all Chinese people. And this is how brave people are. And then you realize they don't want people to know that these were Japanese victims. And they don't want people to know that there were foreigners that were attacked.
Yes.
They don't want them to know.
I think this person said it best when they said some commentators believe that the deliberate avoidance of facts about Japanese and school bus in the official report just shows that saving Japanese is a controversial act in China. The authorities deliberately tried to downplay the impact of the incident. But in the end, due to insufficient narrative, it became public common opinion event. So basically, because they tried to suppress it, people are talking about it more. But it's absolutely true. Because, again, the Chinese government constantly tells everybody how bad Japanese people are. So how weird would it be for them to say saving a Japanese person is good? So the actual official releases from the government didn't mention anything about Japanese people, which is disgusting. The Japanese embassy raised the flag down to half-mast in China. The Japanese embassy put out a lovely statement about the woman and saying that they believe that this is, Chinese people are courageous and all this kind of stuff.
She's a hero.
And I'll be honest, I don't think it's deserved for them to be putting out a statement officially like that when the Chinese government officially puts out horrific statements about Japanese people all the time.
But it's good that they
Of
did,
course, because
that's what diplomacy is.
that's what's, proper diplomacy is, like you said. But the Japanese embassy has been very courteous and appreciative of this hero. And the Chinese government is loving the fact that she's a hero, but doesn't want to say anything about her saving Japanese people. Right? It's disgusting. Now, in the usual fashion, people wanted to go and leave flowers at the site of the attack at this bus stop, okay, where the Japanese school bus, was attacked. And people that were taking and leaving their flowers were confronted by plainclothes police who took all the flowers away. This seems to happen every time.
Yeah.
So these are posts from people that are like, what the hell? We went there to go and put flowers down and these people took them away.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we don't know what's going on.
We can show. Right?
Some people are really pissed off because their flowers got taken away. And then, there was a weak statement later. Yeah, what does it say?
Suzhou citizens presented flowers to Hu Yaoping at the station. The flowers were all taken away. It is sad that it was said that it was collected by the security guard of the SHKP Center. We can only believe this rumor. At a small bus stop, there were at least 20 plainclothes men who tried all kinds of tricks to take away the flowers from the hands of passerbys because my son and I wanted to put, deliver flowers in Huzhou. We had a big fight with a few plainclothes men. You are so embarrassing.
Yeah, you're such an embarrassment. That's what they're trying to say. So, this happens a lot. They came out with a statement later, oh no, we're going to take these flowers and put them at a funeral home or whatever. But here's the thing. If there's a site of a tragedy and you want to pay tribute and you go try to put flowers down and, you turn your back 1 second and some little man runs out and grabs them and runs away with it, that's just BS, Often if I'm driving on a road, I'll see there's a wreath or a little cross or something on the side. I know somebody died there in an accident. Yeah. It reminds me of the human cost of bad driving or, accidents and stuff. It's important.
Yeah.
And China, especially the local governments, they don't want people to be reminded about this. They want this out of the public eye. They want to say no, sure, something happened, but forget about it. Nothing to see here. Yeah. So what do? Flowers, get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Very, very upset about that. But this is pretty much what's going to happen if you teach your entire nation to hate. And as further example of this, immediately after the stabbing, before the news of the Chinese woman had died yet, because they just said she was in critical condition, immediately you had people coming out in support, saying they support the attacker. They're like, I wish I'd done it, congratulations, this is amazing, that kind of thing, all over Chinese social media. We've blurred out those comments because there are some so disgusting. We're not even going to talk about them, but what they would do to Japanese children, So this is, again, just further proof of this is what you get. You reap what you sow. Okay, if you're going to continue, what do they say? You sow what you reap.
Yeah, what was that one?
yeah, exactly.
You sow what you reap.
Exactly, yeah. With Goldilocks and the.
I guess if you're going on the next harvest cycle.
Yes, exactly.
Right? It's grown into seed.
Yeah.
You sow it, and that's what you reap.
But you don't sow what you reap.
You reap the seed.
Yeah, you reaped it.
You're on round 2.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Don't you reap a harvest though? You don't reap the seeds.
You do, but then. Think about it. You let some of that bolt to seed so you can go for the next round.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, at the end of the day, disgusting comments supporting the murderer.
Yeah. Of course, this is not the majority, but this is
No.
the fact this happened. What are you surprised that a ton of thousands of people came out with these comments? Are you
course
surprised?
not.
Of course not. It's what you taught your people to do.
Yeah, exactly.
你关注的
You know,
And then, of course, Mao Ning comes out there with her little speech to say,
for the foreign ministry.
yeah, the foreign ministry, she says, oh, yeah, it's an isolated incident. And China's the safest country in the world for foreigners to come and visit.
具体信息呢，我建议你等待警方的这个权威信息，因为据我了解呢，警方目前对这个事件还在做调查。我想说的是呢，警方初步判断这是一起偶发事件。中国是世界上公认的最安全的国家。
So 中国is the 世界最安全的 BS. It's not the safest place for foreigners to go, and that is because foreigners are blamed for all the problems. It's not the safest place.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's rubbish. Imagine that's what you say, rather than like, this is horrific and we send our regards to the families of the Japanese people that were attacked or something. It's like, no, it's the safest place. Isolated incident. Remember, we looked up isolated incident in Google Translate. It means China mass stabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Dude, okay, I'm sorry, but if anyone follows me on Twitter, I apologize. Because, or X, whatever you want to call it, because every day these days I've been sharing, I put a warning with it. There are stabbing murders in China every single day now. No
It's out of control. Even the Japanese embassy, the consulate put something out. Said,
they're
like, be careful
yeah.
if you're a Japanese person in China. Not just because of that, because stabbings have been so common.
China's society is at breaking point at the moment because you've got a big downturn in the economy. As much as they try their best to pretend it's not, people are under a lot of strain. There are a lot of people that are breaking mentally. There's not enough mental health
There's no
facilities.
mental health
Yeah,
facilities.
exactly.
There's zero.
There are zero. You're right. And so people are at breaking point. And so we're seeing stabbing murders, mass stabbings. We're seeing a lot of suicides, things like that in China. It is very bad right now. You don't hear about it, so you think it's safe. If you want to hear about it, you can follow me on Twitter, but I wouldn't suggest it. If you like to be a happy person.
Yeah. But you get the info out there.
Yeah, exactly.
我们始终欢迎外国人
we don't need
来
any
中
more
国
money.
旅游、
Yeah,
学
yeah.
习、
She's,
more
经
moaning.
商、
欢迎
生活。
come
我们也将继续采
come
取
see
有效
China
措
right
施
now.
保
Just
护
don't worry about these xenophobic murders. Come on.
Wonderful song. How come I've never heard it before?
Edit, dude.
So bad.
We cannot laugh at this.
I can because
It's
they made like a cartoon speech bubble.
Not
One
very
dude
nice
came up to teach kindergarten when I was teaching at that kindergarten. He had cocaine on his nose. I had like Russian prostitutes in my class. Always.
never met a sex pet that's like good to be around.
We snowboarded down Mount Everest or something. This guy's like a grown man. It's like a grown. He's in his 20s telling me that he and his friend died on the way down and stuff. And I'm like, really?
Close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind